Hello and welcome to my very first YouTube video. My name is Miranda. I'm an avid, used to be an avid reader until life happened. And recently I got back into it after watching a couple booktubers and decided to join the club. If you hear bells, it's because I have two very active kittens and my fiance is standing in the corner, which is why I keep looking over there. So hello, I'm Miranda. I'm 25. I live in California. I currently go to school for a horticulture degree and I work at a plant nursery. I also craft. I like having my collection of plants along with my books. Yeah, I just thought I would maybe just make a YouTube channel for shits and giggles. It seemed like a fun thing. And, you know, maybe, who knows? Who knows anything anymore with the way this year is going. So yeah, this is my kind of bookish channel, or kind of a booktube, but I don't plan for it to be necessarily always a booktube. Possibly other crafts, other hobbies, plants for sure. But yeah, so this video is going to be my to be read for October. Now normally I don't stick to any sort of like formal list. Like I've seen a lot of people do games where they have categories that are selected for them, and while that looks really fun, I can't force myself to read a book that I'm not feeling into, so I'm at the moment not going to do that. So with that being said, here's what I'm feeling like reading for the month. So first on my to be read for the month, which I've actually already finished since we are a week into October, is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. It is set in the same world as the Shadow and Bone series. If you are familiar with it, it seems to be a pretty big series. Following Kaz Brecker, a thief with a kind of mysterious background, and the crew of 6 other people that he puts together to help him basically do one of what he considers the most impossible heist in history. Since I've already finished it, I thought it was incredible. The last like 100 pages or so had me really gripped. I had homework I was supposed to be doing and I couldn't put it down. So considering the twist that happened, I'm really excited to see what is next. And even though this is to be read, I've already read it. Still in the month of October though. So with that being said, the second book on my list is Crooked Kingdom, also by Leigh Bardugo. So this is the sequel to Six of Crows, following Kaz Brecker after everything that happens in the finale of the last book. And hopefully we will have some things resolved, some tensions and loose ends tied up nicely. I personally have a couple ways I wish that this would go, but we'll see what happens, because kind of seems like with Leigh Bardugo's writing I never really know what to expect, which I like. So Crooked Kingdom, is next. I've already started a couple pages into this and I'm looking forward to see how this goes. Third on the list, which technically I've already started, so maybe second, is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. This, when I was looking up reviews for it, deciding if it was something I'd be interested in, was described on a Goodreads review as Project Runway meets Mulan. And that immediately had me super hooked. I love Mulan. It's like, I believe, my favorite Disney movie ever. And combining it with Project Runway just kind of seemed like a very interesting way to write a story. So it follows Maya Tamarin, a tailor in a society where women really don't seem to be much more than kind of wives, essentially. She works with her father, who is also a tailor, trying to keep their shop together after some tragedy befalls their family. And there comes an opportunity for her father to go and compete to be the master tailor for the emperor. Since her father is too frail and ill, she decides to pose as her brother and go instead, since she can't compete as herself. So far I am liking it and I'm interested to see where this one goes as well. I've kind of spoiled it a little bit for myself. But on that note, I am also interested in reading the sequel, which is Unravel the Dusk. I don't have a physical copy yet, but that is the sequel to this book. I believe it's a duology. So yeah, that is also on my TBR for the month. So yeah, we'll see. I'm loving it so far, about a third of the way in. Yeah, I'm very interested. The first book I've read by Elizabeth Lim. I believe she also writes the Twisted Fairy Tales collections as well. This is Calcifer, not a book, but one of my baby kittens. Thought I'd bring him in since he wanted to join me. So fourth on the list, I don't have a physical copy of, but a friend does that I can borrow it from. And since it's spooky season, I believe it would be perfect. I am kind of in the mood for a bit of a scarier book. And most of what I read is typically fantasy and doesn't really have a scary element to it. But that would be Mexican Gothic, set in, I believe, 1950s Mexico. A woman goes to see her sister she hasn't seen in a while after her sister marries, and a bunch of stuff starts happening. I've heard some reviews for it so far. Thankfully no spoilers about a very big twist apparently in the middle of the book, but it seems really intriguing and perfect for the Halloween season. But on that note, next on the list would be The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones. This is about a girl named Ren who works as a gravedigger with her family in a remote town where the dead don't always stay dead. So they're essentially kind of zombies. They call them bone houses, and occasionally the bone houses will rise and attack, it sounds like. But one day a new person comes to the town and the bone houses start attacking more, so they have to, Ren and the newcomer have to join forces and figure out what is going on exactly with the bone houses. And it sounds like it takes some twists and turns from there. Sounds spooky, sounds perfect for October and Halloween, so I'm looking forward to reading that this month. Last on the list, sort of, is Caraball, the series, following a girl who essentially doesn't really seem happy with her life, seems to have a, if I remember correctly, arranged marriage set up, and she's always dreamed of going to this thing called the Caraball that comes through every couple or few years. And finally she gets an invitation to go, but she's not necessarily allowed to, so she kind of sneaks off with someone from the town, and upon arriving, the person she goes with gets kidnapped and she has to basically play a game, I believe, to get them safely back. So of course I would like to read that. And then there are the two follow-ups to that series, Legendary and Finale. Actually these are both by Stephanie Garber. I don't think I've ever read a book from her, but it is a best-selling series, and I've heard a lot of hype about it, so I'm interested to see how that goes. So that's the to be read for October. Nothing super long, no games or anything to go along with it, just kind of what I'm feeling in the mood for the month or the season. And it is subject to change because my tastes change, and I've noticed that if I try to make myself read a book that I told myself I was going to and I'm not quite feeling it, that tends to put me in a slump more and make it harder to come out of if I'm just trying to force myself to read this book that I'm just really not feeling for whatever reason. So thank you for watching if you've made it this far. A little bit surprised if you did. But yeah, that is my first video. I'm hoping to in the future maybe do a bit more if this does alright. I would like to do book hauls, reviews at the end of the month on what I read and how I felt about them. And I did order my first Peace and Pages subscription box, so when that gets here sometime in November, I would like to do an unboxing on that and see how I like that. So thank you for watching. If you made it this far, don't think I'm just totally, you know, weird and crazy talking to a camera in my bedroom, which does feel weird. Yeah, thanks for watching. I guess subscribe because that's the thing YouTube does. And hopefully I will see you again later. Drop a comment, say hi, something like that. And yeah, me and Adora, the other kitten, are just gonna hang out and do some reading now.